शङ्करांशभूम शङ्करार्यपीठसद्गुरुन् शुद्धसत्त्वभासुरान् सुवर्त्मनीतभूसुरान् सर्वभूतसौख्यदान् क्षमाकरान् यतीश्वरान्।
देष्ट्येन्द्राणां पादपद्मे नमाम्यहम् मन्दोऽपि वन्दनात् येषां विन्देत गुरुतुल्यता श्रीगुरुचरणद्वन्द्वं वन्देऽहं मतितपुस्सहद्वन्द्वं गान्धिग्रहोपशान्तिं पांसुमयं यस्य भक्षितमातन्ते. So we are starting this session now. The last class we had taken up the shloka number 76, where the nature of Brahman, the pure Brahman, that is the Nirguna Brahman, that was taken up for discussion. So in the 76th verse, the topic was Tadidam Karanam Ekam Vigata Vishesham Vishuddha Chitrupam Tasmat Sadekarupan Mayopahitat Abhut Ashesham Dhamma. This Brahman is the cause of the creation, and that cause is something which is a special type of cause, where the pure Brahman, which cannot become the cause of anything, is said to be in association with Maya, and only then it becomes the cause of the creation. So that Brahman has been stated here in this shloka, and the idea is with a view to help the aspirant come to the right conclusion that this Brahman, which is sought to be taught as the means for liberation, is something which is extremely subtle, and that Brahman has to be first known to be existent, because the nature of Brahman, which is so subtle, a person can conclude easily that it doesn't exist at all. So to help that person to overcome the difficulty, the Shastra is presenting this Brahman as the cause of the creation, so that a person who is to some extent capable of doing any kind of vichara can easily come to the conclusion that, okay, in the world I have seen that everything that is the cause of something exists. And on that basis, I can extend that inference to this Brahman also, which the Shastra teaches as something which is the cause of the whole creation. So that existence of Brahman can be admitted and appreciated. And from there, a person can go further and then finally come to the conclusion that even that causehood is not real. Only the causeless pure Brahman is the real ultimate truth. So this is the scheme. So that part of the shloka we had, that context we have seen in the last class. So now we go further in the 77th shloka. Idani asatkaranavadi paksham nirakaroti. So now there are some philosophers who propose that the cause of the creation is not this existent Brahman, but it is something which is non-existent, asat. So that school also has been very, very popular at that times, Shankaracharya's times, and that school is called, normally goes by the name Bauddha school. That has to be taken up and refuted or negated, or it has to be shown that this doesn't have hold in the Vedanta, because the yukti is also very, very against this school. So that has to be shown. So for that, this further sloka is being presented. Karanam asaditi kechit kathayanti tato bhavet na karanata ankura janani shaktihi sati khalu bije sanipshate sakalaihi. So the shloka says Karanam asat. So some people say that the cause of this creation is something which is non-existent, asat. Kechit kathayanti. Some people say that asataha bhavet na karanataha. So the Siddhantin says that no, this cause of this creation cannot be asat, because asat or non-existence cannot be the cause of anything. So the cause could, the possibility of being a cause cannot be ascribed to this asat. So this is the logic. Ankura, for that an example is given, analysis is given. Janani Shaktihi Satikhalu Bije Samikshate Sakalaihi. So the analogy is, there is a seed, and that seed has to have the power of producing something. Something has to sprout it from it. So the power of sprouting from the seed is contained in that seed. So only when it is contained there, anybody will accept it as a seed which is capable of producing some effect, some plant from which some fruit can come. So if that seed doesn't have that power of germinating at all, then nobody will consider that seed to be a cause of anything. So that is the logic here. Ankura Janani Shaktihi, the Shakti is the one which is capable of germinating. Ankura is the germinated sprout. So that is called Ankura. So that the power of germinating has to be present in a seed. Satikalu Bije Samikshate Sakalaihi. So only then anybody can accept it as a cause of some effect. So this is the idea. So in the commentary, the Acharya says, Karanam asaditi kechit vadinaha katayanti. Some philosophers propose that the cause of the creation is an asad, that is, it is non-existent. That na sambhavati asataha karanata nabhe. Not possible. So the Siddhantin, that the Vedantin says, that is not possible. Asataha karanata nabhe. Asat means that it is non-existent, is incapable of being called, because that causehood is impossible for anything that is non-existent. Tatra drishtantaha, for that the analogy is given. Ankura janani ankurotpadika shaktihi bije satyeva sadrupe bije vidyamane sakalaihi lautikaihi samikshate avalokyate. So only when there is the power of generating or germinating is present in a bija, in a seed, that kind of seed alone will be accepted by the people as something which is capable of generating something. But if the power is not there in the seed, then, or if the seed itself is not there, something cannot come from nothing. So that is the idea. Sakalaihi lautikaihi samikshate asati bije na avalokyate. If the seed itself is not there, is the power of being germinating cannot be accepted at all. So that is the meaning. It is of this sloka. Now, again, some more details are given about this school only. That is the asat karanavadam, punarapi asat karanavadam nirakaroti. So further arguments are given in order to refute that proposition. Karanam asaditi kathayan vandhya putrena nirvahet karyam kincha mrigatrishnanu krishtikambaha pitva mahiyasi shamaye. So karanam asaditi kathayan, by saying that there is a cause which is non-existent, vandhya putrena nirvahet karyam, then you can very well bring about some effects from a son, a barren woman's son. So Vandhyaputra is a non-existent entity, but then the meaning can be grasped by us. That is, a woman is there, she can't bear any children at all, and if that woman were to have a child or a son, that son will be called Vandhyaputra, but then it is impossible. So for the impossibilities alone, there are some analogies given in our accepted in our Shastra Sampradaya. Like one is Gagana Kusuma, a sky flower. In the sky, there cannot be a flower at all. So that sky flower is one example. Then Shashavishana, that is a rabbit's or hare's horn. Rabbit or hare doesn't have a horn at all, but that kind of a horn is also an impossibility. Then some people say Narashanga, for a human also, there can't be any horn at all. So that also is an impossibility. So these are all some words which are used as examples for absolutely non-existent objects, but they can't be called objects at all. So they are just noun entities. So Vandhyaputrena nirvahet karyam. If a person says that the cause is something non-existent, you can very well bring about some effect, or you can ask any Vandyaputra or a Aranyman's son to do something or to produce some effects. That is impossible. Then some more examples are given. One more example. Mrigatishnikam ambaha pitva udanyam mahasim ahiyasim shamayet. So then if nothing is there, that is if something is non-existent, and if you are going to bring an effect from that, then you can very well quench your thirst by drinking the marriage water. So that is also another example. Mrigatishnikam ambaha is water. Mrigatishnika is the marriage. So marriage water, if anybody who is very thirsty, if he goes and drinks the marriage water, his thirst will be satisfied. So Pitva, Udanya is thirst. Pitva, Udanya, Mahiyasin, that is extreme thirst that can be very well sated or satisfied by drinking the marriage water. So these are all impossible. So by showing this, the Siddhanta in Vedanta wants to show that the asat cannot be karanam at all. The cause cannot be some non-existent entity at all. The commentary, Karanam prapanchasya asat iti katayan vadi Vandhyaputrena karani bhutena karyam santati utpatyadi rupam nirvahet sadhaye. So yes, the person who is a philosopher who is proposing that the cause of this creation is something non-existent, then he might very well bring about or come to get the non-Dharmadhenu's son to produce offspring. So that is also impossible. Santati utpatyadi rupam karyam nirvahet sadhaye. Kincha mrigatashnikambaha itva udanyam trisham mahiyasim mahatim shamaye nashaye. By drinking the marriage water, he can even get his thirst sated. Andhyaputram putra marichikanam asatvate karyabhavaha ityartha. The Dharmadhenu's son himself is non-existent, and the marriage water itself is non-existent. So naturally, those entities cannot bring about any effect at all. So in the same way, the Jagat Karanam, if it is said to be itself, it cannot be accepted to bring about the effect called the world. Kani asatkaranavadaha shruti-yuktibhyam anupannaha idyaha. Now, passage also is implied. And by these two, Shruti and logic, so this Asat Karanavada cannot be accepted. Yasman nas soyam asato vadaha sambhavati shastriyuktibhyam tasmat sadeva tattvam sarvesham karanam bhavati jagatam. So yasmat nas so ayam asataha vadaha, that is Asat Karanavada is not possible. Sambhavati na sambhavati, it is impossible to accept asat as a karanam. Shastriyuktibhyam, through the Vedantic passages, which straight away go to show that the asat karanavada is impossible or it is false or faulty. Shastriyuktibhyam and also logic. Tasmat sadeva tattvam sarvesham karanam bhavati jagat. Cause of the world creation has to be sat, that is existent alone. So in the commentary the commentator is showing what the author of the what text intends by Shruti, what Shruti passage is intending. Yasmat Shruti-yuktibhyam asat karanasya avasatvam avasattvate soyam Purvoktavadaha shastriyuktibhyam na sambhavati na kadate. Yasmat Shruti-yuktibhyam. Since there are passages, Shruti passages, which straight away go to show that the asat karanavada is faulty, and yukti is also there. So such a proposition will be only a seeming or only an appearance. It cannot be called a real cause at all. Satkaranasya abhasatvate. It is satkaranam. Satkaranam is only a appearance. It is not really possible to accept it, or nobody can really propose a as Asat. I am Purvoktavadaha, this proposition or this school, Shastra Yukti na Sambhavati Nagakate. Shastram. So he is first showing the passage, that is Vedantic passage, which is very, very appropriate for this purpose. Sadeva Somya Idamagra Asiviti. So the Chandogya Upanishad, it starts with this, that is the teaching, starts with this declaration that Sadeva Somya Idam Agra Asiviti. Idam means this world that is being experienced by us. This world before creation was existent alone. God was pure existence alone. That alone has now in the post-creation scenario is appearing as this world. So this world, which is with names and forms and all that we are experiencing now, was at before creation, before it came into being, pure existence alone. Sat eva somya. Somya is addressing this Shvetiketu. Somya idam jagate agre srishte prak purvam sat eva asi. It was sat alone, existence alone. Then Bhagavat Pada would give a commentary that okay, before then this jagat was sat only. We can accept it because of the Shruti Vakyam. But what about the case after Srishti, after the post-creation scenario, this world, Bhagavat Pada says, even now, that is in the post-creation scenario also, this world is sat alone. Beautifully, Bhagavat Pada brings about the Advaitic Vedantic tenet that the Jagat that is experienced by us now is also nothing but Sat Brahman alone. So that is the idea. And that whole chapter, that is the 6th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad, which is called Sadvidya, that also the whole chapter is dedicated to establish that this world that we see or experience now doesn't have an existence apart from the Sat, that is its cause. So that means just like the superimposed snake doesn't have an existence apart from the substratum that is the rope, the same way this world that is a superimposition on Brahman does not have an existence apart from the substratum Brahman. Ultimately, just like the superimposed snake is negated as non-existent in all 3 periods of time, the same way this world that is being experienced also is negated as non-existent in all 3 periods of time. A dream, for example, even during the time when the dream was being experienced, it did not exist. So in the same way, this world also. So these are the corollaries of this theory. Sadeva Somya Dhammaga Asiditi Shastra. Then Yukti, what is the logic? Vandhya Putradibhyaha Karya Anuppatihi. So the Yukti has been stated already in the previous slokas. One example is that Vandhya Putra, that is the Dharmadhenu's son, and Adipadena, we can take the. So these are the Yukti. So whenever Yukti is there, this also we can keep in mind that when the Shastra talks about Yukti, logic, normally, invariably also, there will be an analogy shown. Drishtanta also will be shown. Sometimes Drishtanta may not be shown, but Yukti will be there. So one can separate the Drishtanta. So these are the ways in which the Yukti is employed. Yukti Vandhya Putradibhyaha Karya Anuppatihi. So from the cause that is the marriage water's son or the barren one's son or the marriage water, that is that cause, no effect can arise. Karya Anuppatihi. Tasmat Yasmat Asatkaranavadaha na ghatate ataha sadeva sattvarupameva tattvam brahma sarvesham jagatam karanam hetuhu. So, therefore, that is the conclusion is, since the cause cannot be asat, we have to ultimately conclude by the cause of this whole creation is Sat, that is Sat Brahman alone. And that is what is being taught by the Vedanta Upanishads. Ataha sadeva satsarupameva tattvam brahma sarvesham jagatam karanam hetuhu. Sat alone, Sat Brahman alone has to be accepted as the cause of this creation. The question is raised as an introduction to the next shloka. Nano prapanchakarim sadrupam brahma ityukte advaita hanihi syat iti akanshaya maha. So the question that is raised is, if you accept that the cause that is Sat as the one which is prior to this effect that is the world, sadrupam brahma ityukte advaita hanihi syat. Advaita hani means your system is proposing that the ultimate absolute truth is Brahman alone, and that too Brahman that is secondless Brahman, which does not have a second entity apart from it of any kind. So that is the kind of Brahman you are proposing, Advaita Brahman. So if you say that this Brahman is a cause, how can that Brahman be Advaita in nature? So that is the question. So the shloka, so that is being answered in the shloka. Jagadakarathayapi brahmadi akaratayapi pratibhati idam paratparam tattvam. So one immediate way in which the doubt can be established or enunciated is that if you say that the cause of this creation or the Brahman that who causes Brahman, then your Advaita Hani will be there. That is, you cannot establish that Brahman is Advaita in nature. So why the question naturally arises? Why? What is the reason? What is the problem in that? So the problem is that you say on one side that Brahman is the Advaitic Brahman, it is Advitiyam. But again, you also say that there is a world which has been created from it. So the world has got a lot of variety in it, and the world itself, even if you take it collectively, that will be a second entity apart from Brahman of the cause. So now, normally we have seen that the cause is something and the effect is something, and there is definitely duality there. So here also you will have to accept that the Jagat, which is the cause, karyam of this karanam, that is Sadrupam Advaita Brahman, will be a second entity, and naturally your claim of that Brahman being Advaitic in nature, non-dual in nature, will be unsettled. Then Guru Shishya Vigraha Tayapi. Then there is also this duality involved in the teaching and the learning process, where there is a person who imparts the knowledge and there is another person who is receiving that knowledge. So there also you see duality. Then Brahmadi Akara Tayapi. Then Brahmadi is is like Hiranyagarbha and other Devatas and all that. So there also you see duality. So this whole world is full of duality, and the duality itself can be categorized into so many ways. So how can you claim that this Brahman is Tadrupa Brahman is the Advaitic question? And for that the shloka says that the reply says that Jagadakarataya Prasate. So that is the Anvaya. So that is that Paratparan Tattvam, that is Advaitic Brahman, that alone appears as this whole universe or the whole creation, and within that creation you see so many orderly dualities also, like Guru Shishya. So there is a Guru and there is Shishya and all that. Then Brahmadi Akaratayapi, then you see so many Devatas, you have to accept these Devatas like Hiranyagarbha and all that for Upasana purpose and all that. There also you see duality. So there are so many lokas, there are 14 lokas that has been that have been specified in the Puranas and all that. So there is full of variety and duality. How can you say that this Brahman is the Advaitic Brahman? So this Siddhantin says that Advaitic Brahman alone is appearing in all these forms of dualities. That is the reply. Now we recall a very nice verse from Shankaracharya's Dashashloki. There's a beautiful verse there. Shastram na shiksha na shishyo na shishyata. So there is no shastra. There is no shastram. There is no text with which Guru teaches, and that Guru is called Shastra, and there is no Shishya at all who is receiving that knowledge. And then there is no process of teaching also, that is Shiksha. Then, Nachatvam, Nachaham, Nachayam, Prapanchaha. You are not there, I am not there, and this whole universe also is not there. Swarupa Bodho Vikalpa Asahishnuko Adeko Vashishta Shiva Kevalokam. So that beautiful shloka is so nice it is, and it brings out the Advaitic purpose so beautifully. Swarupa Bodha, that is, his realization of his truth will not tolerate Sahishnuko, it will not tolerate any kind of duality. So Swarupa Bodha, so it does not tolerate any Vikalpa Asahishnuko. Vikalpa is duality or distinctions or divisions. It will not tolerate any of this. But the ultimate and only one truth is that Tadeko Avashishtaha, Avashishta means having negated everything, something which is remaining, which cannot be negated at all. So that is Brahman, which is non-different from me. I am that Brahman. So this shloka is also very relevant here. So in this commentary, the Acharya says, Jagataakarataya iti. Jagatakaratayapi prapancharupenapi brahmaiva prathate prasiddhim gachati. This Brahman alone is appearing as this universe that is being experienced by everyone. And there is also a shloka in, I think in Aprokshanabhuti, whatever it does, he is doing that only with Brahman. So if I am giving something to someone, I am Brahman, that giving is Brahman, what I am giving is Brahman, and the one who is receiving it is Brahman. So that receiving act also is Brahman, the receiver is also Brahman, the giving act is also Brahman, the giver is also Brahman, and what he gives and what is taken, that is also Brahman. So there is nothing other than Brahman. So that subject, predicate, object, everything is Brahman. So that's the shloka in the Aprokshan. I think it is in that text only. But we don't know that. Everybody is doing all sorts of vyavaharas, but then that Brahman alone is involved in all these vyavaharas, that is not known by anybody. Alas, that is the unfortunate thing Acharya says there. So Jagatakaratayapi prapancharupenapi brahmaiva prathate prasiddhim gachati. Guru Shishya Vigrahatayapi. So there is a person who is solid sitting as the Guru, and there is a Shishya also who is sitting, who is receiving the teaching. In that manner also, Brahman alone. So Brahman is the teacher, Brahman is the receiver. That is the beauty here. So Guru Shishya Rupenapi Tatha Brahmadi Akaratayapi. Brahmadi Akara is Hiranyagarbhadi Devata Rupenapi. Prime Devata, from whom all the other Devatas, Indra the Devas. So Hiranyagarbha is the Sarva Devata Swarupa. So he is the Swarupa of all the other Devatas. In other words, we can say that Hiranyagarbha himself is appearing as all these Devatas, and Hiranyagarbha himself is none other than the Brahman. So, appearing as Hiranyagarbha. Then we have got that sequence also here. Hiranyagarbha is the Sukshma entity, and Virat is the Sthula entity, and all the other Devatas are also the manifestations of that one Virat. So, in the scheme of the Purusha Sukta, we can see that that one body, Virat Shariram, is the one which is housing all the other whole creation. And the Vishwarupa Adhyaya also is about this one. Paratkaram Tattvam Brahmaswarupam Pratipati. That Tattvam Brahmaswarupam, that is Paratkaram. The word Paratkaram in the shloka is being stated here, Tattvam. It is not explained here. That Paratkaram is something which is very big. There is one thing called Para. That Para is the Mula Prakriti, which is the subtlemost in creation, or it is the subtlemost entity that is the cause of the manifestation of the entire universe that is being experienced by us. And of course, there is a process also, there is a sequence also from that extremely subtle Mula Prakriti. There is a process which emanates, which is initiated, and which ends up as the Sthula Prapancham, that's what we experience. So that Mula Prakriti is called Para. Para means it is supreme. It is supreme from the standpoint of all that it has created or it has created. So in the Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter, we have got a shloka, Yasmat Sharamati Toham Aksharavati Chottamaha Atostu Loku Vedecha Prithak Purushottamaha. So that Purushottama, that is the ultimate reality, supreme Nirguna Brahman, is higher than this akshara, that itself is higher than the kshara. So kshara is the one which is born and which dissolves, or which ultimately ends up or resolved into absorbed into the Mula Prakriti. So that is kshara. But that Mula Prakriti itself does not get destroyed. It remains. But this Brahman is above that Mula Prakriti also. So that Mula Prakriti is Parat Para, and Parat Param is this Tattva. So that is how it is in this statement in the Upanishads also, especially in the Mandukya. Tattvam Brahmaswarupam Pratibhati Tattadaakarataya Brahmaiva Vivartarupena Bhasate Uttataha. So in all forms, whatever forms that we encounter in creation, in everyday life, all those forms are actually Brahman alone in the form. Vivarta is, it is Brahman alone has transfigured into that form. That is, just like gold alone is appearing in the form of so many ornaments. Clay alone is appearing in the form of so many clay drops. In the same way, Brahman alone is appearing in all these forms, names and forms. And also we have to remember that the actions also are actually Brahman. See, end this session. Jagadakara tayapi rathate Gurushishya vigrahatayapi brahmadi akaratayapi pratibhati idam parakparam Shri Guru charanadvandvam vandekam matita dussahadvandvam Danti grahopash sumayam yasya basitam atante Shastram Sharira Mimamsa Devastu Parameshwaraha Acharya Shankaracharyaha Santu Me Janjanmani Vidyavaniya Sampannam Etaradam Vivekinam Vedanta Tattvagnam Vidushekara Bharati